was a great opportunity for some of the younger Thunder players to get involved, get some action in this seeding game number 6 down in Orlando. The high riser Hamidou Diallo finishing off that alley-oop from Chris Paul. 128-101, our final. Welcome back inside Chesapeake Energy Arena, and welcome to Thunder Live, presented by Cox with Michael Cage. I am Chris Fisher. As the Thunder defeated quite the undermanned performance for Oklahoma City without 5 out of the top 7 in the rotation, so that gave some young guys an opportunity. And Michael, Thunder got off to a pretty good start early on in this game. 37 first-quarter points, jumped out to a 15-point lead, but Phoenix ultimately caught up and caught fire.
Well, it's your 3 games in 4 nights, okay? So you have to make that adjustment with the energy. I thought they did a good job of just getting started, because you don't want to be chasing the game from the first quarter on. Like you mentioned, 37 points in the first quarter. That's pretty powerful, especially with the amount of people that were out in terms of offense. And then, once the game got going for Phoenix, they got DeAndre Eden back. He was a late, show up for the game. And all of a sudden, it changed the dynamics for them. They flipped the script, got to that free throw line in that second quarter. I thought that was a big difference. And then, we talked about during the broadcast, they started dropping those threes, and that was spearheaded by Devin Booker. Yeah, the Thunder got off to an early good start because the defense was there, the energy was there. Phoenix had 20 turnovers in this game, and that highlight coming in, you saw that 2-on-1 with Chris Paul and Hamidou Diallo. That wasn't the only alley-oop. The Thunder got on the fast break early on. Right, and, with this being, what we would like to call an energy game, you got to be able to find points that you're not used to getting. Well, here, how about this? Points off turnovers. It became almost a positive bright spot throughout the game, as Phoenix could not stop turning the basketball over. And that's okay, because the Thunder were able to continually cash in on that. You see Darius Baisley finishing that one off. And again here, a nice alley-oop. Chris Paul in the game. 7 more assists for him in 24 minutes. And Hamidou Diallo, great at finishing around the rim. So the Thunder felt good about this game early on in that first quarter, and good to see some of those young guys coming out. Devin Booker, though, 35 points on offense for Phoenix. That was a little too much to handle. Right. He was himself. I mean, you're talking about he's a tough cover. You got some guys out there trying to guard a lethal score that they're not used to. So when that happens, guess what? Everybody gets involved. He got hot. He got his team going. Once Aiden got back in the game in the second quarter, that tandem, both Booker came in with averaging almost 27 a game. Phoenix gets a lot of their points from the free throw line. You do a very good job in the first quarter. They get almost 18% of their offense from the free throw line. That became a problem from the second quarter on. It's easy to dismiss a game like this and just say, hey, look, the Thunder had their reserves in. But I thought that Billy Donovan kind of brought up a pretty good point early on in the pregame, saying this situation is so unpredictable down in Orlando. It's so important to keep so many guys engaged, involved. And so this was one of those opportunities to get some of those back-end bench players some opportunities to get them some playing time. Yeah, twofolds. You're right. You get those guys some time, some time. But at the same time, you can't keep playing your starters through this 8 seeding games, because it's such a short turnaround between when the 8th game of yours ends and the playoff starts. You want to be healthy, you want to be fresh, and whenever you can get a look at some young guys, you want to do that. And I thought, man, Darius Baisley, Lou Dort, we've been able to point the finger at so many different guys, but the last couple of games, Baisley has been outstanding. All right, let's go back to Orlando and listen in on head coach Billy Donovan.
Hey, Coach, you guys got off to a 14-point lead there before they scored 42 in the second quarter. What changed for you guys, that, from your perspective, defensively, for that to happen?
Well, I think it was a combination of a couple of things. One is I thought their defensive intensity really picked up, and they pressured us. We had 11 turnovers in the first half, and that certainly we were fortunate we didn't give up as many points. I think both teams had 11 turnovers. We maybe scored a few more points over turnovers than they did, but I thought their pressure disrupted us. I thought we got a little bit stagnant, and we made some pretty decent plays. I thought when we broke their defense down and made good plays, we were able to get some open looks. But, I thought there in that second quarter that they turned up the defensive intensity, and that probably took us out of some rhythm.
Next, we're going to go to Joe Masato with the Oklahoman. Joe, go ahead.
Hey, Billy, it looked like you caught up with Monty and, his staff after the game, and I know you guys have worked together in the past. Just what have you made of the job that him and his staff has done with this Phoenix team in the bubble?
Well, I would say, coming from college and knowing that, you're going to have to, and obviously I brought Anthony Grant with me. We had a relationship. He was a college guy, never had any NBA experience like myself. So I knew I was going to have to hire some guys, some NBA experience. But I couldn't ask for a greater group of guys for my first year working with. I mean, Monty was incredibly valuable. We built an unbelievable relationship. Great guy. Really love his family, love him. And then I think even having the chance to work with Mark Bryant and Darko for 4 years, just how good a basketball coach they are, and really what better people they are. So I was really, really fortunate, I think, for my 4 years just with those guys. Monty was only for a year, but the other guys were 4 years. So they'll do a great job because they're really good coaches. They're really good people. They're going to build great connections with the players there in Phoenix. Those guys will love playing for them. But I have nothing but love and respect and admiration for all those guys.
Eric Horn with The Athletic.
Hey, Billy. Wanted to ask, what do you make, considering you guys don't have everybody available tonight, what do you make of those long stretches that you had where you didn't have a true point guard on the floor?
Some of that, I think, has to be put on me. And what I mean is exactly what you said. You know, we had Devin Hall sitting there. I wanted to try to give some of those other guys an opportunity to handle the ball and deal with some pressure and be able to make some plays and have to run offense. You know, like I put Hami in some of those situations, you know, where he had the ball in his hands quite a bit. I had Deontay bringing the ball up the floor. I thought that was good for them. There was times in the second half we had Darius bring it up. And we did use Devin, and that was fine. But I wanted, when Chris got off the floor, to have some different guys handle the ball a little bit for us. And, you know, again, some of those guys probably it was different for them. But I think that the experience they got playing against that kind of pressure was good for them. And, you know, for the most part, they tried to do a really, really good job. Like I said, I thought we played it really, for the most part there. You know, the second quarter, there was some good moments and bad moments. The first quarter, we really played well. I thought we came out really ready to play. I thought Chris did a great job leading. We were right there. Even coming out of the half, I mean, it's a, 1 or 2 point game. And I think they started off the third quarter on 11-2 run. You know, our defense was not great there during that early stretch of the third. But the guys that were out there, I think there'll be some really good learning experiences from, being able to have to make plays, with the ball in their hands.
More for your coach. Next, we're going to go to Jenny Carlson with the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jenny.
Hey, Billy. How are you?
Doing good, Jenny.
Good. Hey, despite the loss today, a double-double for Darius, and I know that you talked before you guys started playing again that you were impressed by his how he had improved physically during the layoff. How has he been able to take that from physically getting better to now on the court, we're starting to see the points, the rebounds, the defense, all that sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, he's done a really good job. I think the 4-month layoff probably helped him, probably slowed things down for him a little bit. I think the older guys, have done a really good job investing time in him and helping him. But he's gotten better. And I think the one thing about it is he's shot the ball better because he's taking better shots. And I think our guys have put him in position where he's been able to, be a lot more efficient, and I think he's understanding when to drive and when to shoot a lot more now.
Thanks.
Thank you, Coach. That'll do it for tonight. Appreciate it.
And you take a look at some of the overall stats here. Final stats, Phoenix shot it hot all game, 47%. The three ball was a big factor, 17 out of 34. And in typical Phoenix fashion, Mike, 29 assists, number one team in the NBA in that category.
And that's where the game was, right there. Phoenix turned it up at a time when they needed to. They had that only real bad quarter they had was that first quarter. Now, I like what Billy talked about. Look, trying to give other guys some time this afternoon, putting the ball in the hands of other people to let them facilitate the offense. This is the kind of stuff you can't get in practice. And you haven't been able to get it before the hiatus. So where you're going to get it, if you can, was this afternoon. And of course, just the discussion about Baisley. He just seems to pop up everywhere, man. Anytime he's on the floor, He's learning the game, and he's showing you something different. And I was really impressed with him again this afternoon.
Another 20-plus performance for Darius Baisley. He had 22. Tack on 10 rebounds. How about a double-double, the first of his career for the rookie? We'll talk about him and his day when we come back to Thunder Live. Thunder Live is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Thunder. Watch together, cheer together, celebrate together. And by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Heat versus Thunder on Fox Sports Oklahoma.
Even in the absence of many, Chris Paul still an efficient 24 points in the Thunder loss. Let's hear what he had to say to the media down in Orlando.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Well, and you?
Doing well, thanks. We talked to Billy before the game about, all of the guys that you guys had out today, 5 of the top 6 scorers, but he said that you preferred to play and that you wanted to stay sharp. Like, why was it important for you to be out there today rather than taking a day of rest?
I just want to hoop, and I feel great. I told Coach, when you're in one of those situations where I've been injured before a few times and don't have the ability to play, right? So if I'm fine and I can play, then I want to play. So, yeah, I just like to hoop.
All right. Next up, we're going to go to Nick Gallo, OKCThunder.com.
Hey, Chris, Billy made the point, and I think you did too earlier in this bubble, just that you guys are going to need every single person on your roster to get through these seeding games, to get through the playoffs. When guys get extended minutes like this, what does it do for them just in terms of trying to build a rhythm for future games?
There's nothing like confidence. There's nothing like real game minutes. At times you practice, but, nothing can simulate the game. So it's always good to give guys those real minutes in games.
Next, we're going to go to Eric Horn with The Athletic.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
What's that?
We can see on TV from home a lot of times when you guys have a timeout or something, you're going to Darius and you're talking to him. What are some of the things that when you're talking to Darius when the game's not going on?
Just telling him stuff that I see or that I know, and Baze is like a brother to me. We watch games, we talk, and he's so talented, you know what I mean? And for him to be a rookie, it's a lot being thrown at him, but I feel like I'd be doing him a disservice if I didn't tell him. You know what I mean? If I didn't tell him the things that I see. And, he takes it, keeps on moving. And to see his growth from when he first, started out the season has been really, really impressive.
Next, Jenny Carlson with The Oklahoman.
Hey, Chris, I'll follow up on that about Darius. As you've played alongside him in these 5 seeding games, what's impressed you most about the strides that he's made since the layoff?
Aside from his activity and rebounding, and I think it's the shooting. I think that comes with practice. That comes with repetition. And I think it shows the amount of work that he put in during the shutdown, during the quarantine or whatnot. So to see the commitment that he's put into that department, and just the confidence. Early in the season, we used to get on Baze a lot of times for passing up shots. Now Baze hitting step backs or crossovers. It's going to be cool to see him continue to grow.
Thanks, Chris.
2 more for you here, Chris. Next, we're going to go to Paris Lawson, OKCThunder.com.
Hey, Chris, Billy was talking about how experiences like these are so valuable for young players. Obviously, we saw you talking a lot to the guys on the sideline. From this game in particular, what do you feel like the young guys can kind of take away from this moving forward?
The good thing about our team is we talk all game long. So even in some of the other games where those guys didn't play as many minutes, we talk when I'm out the game. We talk about the things that we see. And so I think in this game where a lot of those guys are getting a chance to play, we were just talking about translating it. They get to observe a lot, when they watching some of the other games, and now you put it into action. So it was cool to see everybody put things together.
Thanks.
And last one for you, Chris. We're going to go to Michael Kinney with Michael Kinney Media.
All right, Chris. Once again, you've come out with the Savannah State shirt and the face masks. When you have these type of gear coming out, what message are you trying to put out there that maybe is getting lost as the season goes on?
I don't think it's getting lost. I think I'm just trying to bring awareness to, a lot of the HBCUs out there. I have a school in North Carolina. I have a class at North Carolina A&T. My brother in our AAU program has been doing calls with a few of the coaches at different HBCUs. It's the education of it. In doing this, I've been able to learn a lot. Savannah State was the home of Shannon Sharp, and some of the different schools that I've been wearing from game to game. North Carolina Central has a coach there, Lavelle Moten, who's a family friend of mine who I've known for a long time. Winston-Salem State University is a school in my backyard that a lot of my family members have went to, and just trying to, bring awareness to, not only myself, but to other people about these historically Black colleges and universities that I think a lot of times get overlooked, because a lot of times they don't get the proper funding that a lot of these other schools get. So,
thank you, Chris. We appreciate the time.
No problem.
Chris Paul continuing the awareness for historically Black colleges and universities. Also, the awareness for Darius Baisley. Kind of interesting hearing him talk about back when it was early in the season that they would get on Darius for not taking certain shots when they were there. But Darius certainly has been taking advantage of his shots lately. What stood out to you, Mike, from that interview with CP?
Well, how he talked about the relationship they have. You're down in a bubble. You're going to spend time with each other. Who are you going to spend that time with? Obviously, the youngest guy on your roster generally is the guy who feels the loneliest. This is rookie season along with Lou Dort. But, and that relationship, how it's starting to translate into, what you're seeing, the development on the floor. Development from young guys is not always a straight line in this game. It's very difficult. The game can come at you pretty fast. Billy Donovan talked about how the game has, slowed down a lot for him during the hiatus. And then to see Chris Paul, because we're always trying to figure out what are they talking about, what are they saying, and that now to have a media member mention, hey, what are you talking about with the guys, and mainly Darius, that there is a conversation going on about the game, because there's so much to learn and so much to see at every single time out.
All right, time now to take a look at today's forward player of the game, none other than Darius Baisley, his first career double-double. See that patience there? Didn't settle for the three. Instead, took a step in, just knocked down what was given to him. And here, high-flying connection with Chris Paul. Starting the fast break there and finishing the fast break. So another nice overall performance for the rookie.
Just not forcing the game again for back-to-back games. You look at the numbers there, third rookie in Thunder history with 20-plus points in back-to-back game. First since 2009, so really stepping up to the plate. Now, you don't always get this production, but when you do get it, it's all about confidence. He's talked about it many times, saying, my confidence is really good right now, and it's nice to see that translating on the court.
Well, let's hear from the man of the match down in Orlando.
Hey, Darius, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, so another 20-point game for you, a double-double tonight. We heard before you guys started these seeding games that Billy and others were impressed by the physical growth you'd shown during the layoff, but now we're really seeing that come to fruition on the court. What do you feel has changed most in your game since these seeding games have started?
I think the biggest change, and it's something that I should have been doing, since the start to now, but defensively I'm a lot more vocal. And I think that helps, tremendously. Is just being able to communicate. That's the biggest thing that I'm proud of, is that I'm starting to, talk on defense. I just want to keep that going. The game is starting to slow down a little bit for me, and it all just comes down to making the right plays, making the right reads. What's the defense giving me? Do I have a shot? Do I have a drive, or do I just pass, really, and then just continue to play hard and run the floor.
Thanks, Baze.
Next, we are going to go to Eric Horn with The Athletic.
Hey, Darius. I see a lot of times when you guys have a timeout or stoppage that Chris is, one of the first guys to come to you and talk to you. What is he talking to you about, or what are some examples of things that he talks to you about when y'all have those timeouts?
It just depends. Maybe he might have said something and it was like a split second, like it happened so fast that I didn't know what he was saying. And so when we go into the timeout, he'll be like, hey, what I was telling you was, boom, 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 or he'll just talk about something that he sees that's going on the court. Or just say like, hey, we're in, transition. And because I've been playing the 5, these past couple of games, he just tells me like, we're in transition, just me and you, like, let's get into it fast. Or defensively, he's just telling me, little things just to be up or just to keep talking.
Thanks.
Thank you, Bays. Next, we're going to go to Daniel Bell with Black Sports Online. Go ahead, Daniel.
Hey, Bays. Chris said that throughout the season that the guys have been telling you to shoot more. How often is it, how valuable is it to have guys like that around you just to keep telling you to shoot for times like this?
It's really valuable, and it really helps. When I know that my teammates are encouraging me to continue to keep shooting, even coaches, they'll say don't hesitate or, take that shot. It's really encouraging, and it helps me a lot, to have that confidence and to not second guess and to just shoot it, and just live, with it. I think a lot of times they're telling me to shoot because they're good looks, but like I said, shoot the open ones and, if not, just make the next best read.
Last one here for you, Bays, goes to Logan Newman with Thunderwire.
Hey, Bays. Deandre Eden entered the game at the beginning of the second quarter. How much of his presence do you think helped the Suns make that comeback?
I think we got hurt a little bit on the rebounding side. I think they might have got some offensive rebounds. And I think that hurt us a bit. But it was other factors that went into it for them to come back and get that lead. And us as a group, we're gonna go back and watch film, and learn and take away from that, because we at no point in time in the game do we ever want to fall back on our, like, just stop with our principles and maybe get complacent with where we are or lackadaisical. So I think he definitely helped them with rebounds. I'd say that maybe that's the role he played in them coming back.
Well, Michael, it's got to be a great feeling as a young player when the game finally does slow down for you, and it has, it seems like, for Darius Baisley at this point in his rookie year.
That's right. And, he's saying some very mature stuff, very observant stuff out there on the court. Obviously his relationship with Chris Paul, but how he's learning one of the key areas of the game is being vocal, communication, and how it's starting to open up things for him out there, because there's a language that exists on the court for every team on the defensive end and the offensive end, and being in the right spots. He's starting to figure that out as well, too, and that's translating into points, rebounds, and steals.
All right, coming up next for the Thunder will be the Miami Heat. From the Suns to the Heat, a team from the Eastern Conference and a team that the Thunder lost to earlier this season. So looking for a bounce-back performance. We'll preview Jimmy Butler and his squad when we come back to Thunder Live. Thunder Live is brought to you by Cox, proud partner of the Thunder. Watch together, cheer together, celebrate together. And by your Oklahoma Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Oklahoma.
Heat versus Thunder on Fox Sports Oklahoma.
And welcome back to Thunder Live, presented by Cox. We take a look at the remaining schedule for OKC. Next up, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. on Fox Sports Oklahoma against the Miami Heat out of the Eastern Conference. To wrap up against the Clippers, take a look at the updated up to the moment Western Conference standings. OKC in that 5 spot. Utah just lost to Dallas, so Dallas gets a big win. And the Jazz in that 6 spot. So right now, Oklahoma City, if the season were to end today, would take on Houston in that 4-5 matchup. Now that we've got an Eastern Conference team coming up on the schedule, where's Miami? Well, in the 4 spot, 43-27, just ahead of Indiana. And looks like Boston right in front. So this sets up a fun one in the Miami Heat. Very good team. Jimmy Butler, of course, came over. Bam Adebayo, Kendrick Nunn, the rookie. What do we know about Miami, Mike? A team that we really don't see all that often here living in the Western Conference.
Eric Spoelstra. He's
Great
still
coach.
that's right, absolutely. He's a terrific coach. He knows what he's got. He runs a lot of zone defense. Now, they have a massive game tonight against the Pacers. They're both at 43-27. Will play later today. That's going to be really something to watch as well, folks. But this is a team that will play a lot of zone defense. I don't know if you remember the game here in Oklahoma City. The Thunder really struggled trying to get around that zone defense. So you have to crack the code on that as well. Jimmy Butler's an all-star. You mentioned Bam Adebayo. He's a terrific player. Kendrick Nunn, I think he's got definitely in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. But Tyler Hero, they have shooters. Duncan Roberts, they have a lot of shooters that can play in transition and knock down threes.
Also have the addition of Andre Iguodala. But Jimmy Butler, he's the headliner. He is the star at over 20 points per game. A team that is so well coached, as you said, by Eric Spoelstra. Just execute in so many different areas. And then Bam Adebayo, did we say possible comeback player of the year, most improved player?
Oh, he's definitely in that conversation. He's knocking down threes. He's undersized for a center, but he's very mobile, which makes him really dangerous. He can take the contact, very physical as well. And he's learning the values of the game. Just only in his 2nd year, so really surprising to see him have such a massive jump in his game.
Undersized center, but averaging a double-double. And this is a balanced team. Duncan Robinson, don't forget about him. He can shoot the 3. You mentioned Tyler Hero. And Jay Crowder, another addition, just adding a little bit of depth.
Well, I like the balance in this team. They got a nice little veteran lineup, but they also have an influx of young talent. And the biggest thing with the young talent is that they're delivering right now. You got to throw Bam in there. Kendrick Nunn, we brought him up, but the shooters from the outside, Robinson and Tyler Hero, they are guys you have to watch out for because they're always towing that line out there, and they can knock it down pretty good.
All right, another different tip time, but maybe usual for the regular season. That game will tip off at 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night right here on Fox Sports Oklahoma. Game number 7 for the reseeding. Thunder lose today to the Phoenix Suns, 128-101. But Thunder will be right back in action on a Wednesday night. We'll see what squad returns for that one as the Thunder will try to get back into the win column as the playoff pursuit continues. For all of us here at Fox Sports Oklahoma, Paris Lawson, Nick Gallo, Michael Cage, I'm Chris Fisher saying thanks for being with us. We'll talk to you on Wednesday night.